Niemann Cockfight Skateboards.
Congrats on the 10 years making boards, and what are your thoughts on making it 10 years in the business?
There was never any thought of making it any certain amount of time. I mean, it's pretty awesome that we're still around after all this time, for sure.
So when you started, I mean, how far did you think you would go with the brand?
Never even gave it a thought. We just did it because we wanted to do it.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And so why the name Cockfight?
It's kind of a long story, but we had a list of names, and we really wanted like a name that made people uncomfortable or cringe, just because everything was so homogenized at the time. It was the early 2000s, and I don't know, skateboard was in a kind of a weird time, and so we had a list of names we were going through, me and my partner Kevin, and we were like, well, what are we going to call it? We'd go through the list, and one of us would hate it, the other would, you know, think it was all right. And so finally one day I was at the flea market over off of Airline. It's like Airline and West Road area, or Airline and Canino. It's a gnarly flea market. Well, anyway, there's all these shops, or I guess whatever you want to call them, with cockfight gear and dudes with like cockfight hats and shirts and selling the stuff for actual cockfighting at this flea market. And I was just blown away that they were so brazen, that they just had that gear on, you know. And so I was like, that's it. That's what we're going to call it. So it really didn't have any other meaning other than I couldn't believe that was out there. And, you know, we were looking for a name, and we just kind of went with it. And then it kind of goes also with the industry, and, you know, there's kind of a little sword fight between all the companies and all that kind of stuff. And so I don't know. It just kind of fit at the time.
What made you start your own business of making boards?
Well, around that same time, nobody, you know, like 3 or 4 brands maybe made boards that I wanted to ride. And that bummed me out. It was always the same one, same graphic, and I was like, we should just make our own boards. And that's pretty much how it started. We just talked to each other about it, skated together a lot. We're like, well, let's just do it. Stop talking about it. So.
And where do you sell your product?
Mainly online. South Shore Distribution gets boards whenever we've got enough for them. Surf House always wants our boards, and basically anybody that asks me, you know, hey, we want some boards, I'll send them to anybody. So there's a couple the Point Skate Shop in Dallas, and a couple other ones over through the years, but mainly online. And then South Shore has them, so any shop can get them that uses South Shore. So
is it mainly just Texas, or is it throughout the U.S.?
The majority of our business is definitely Texas.
Okay.
But there's a following elsewhere. We got some good team riders in other spots that have guys interested in them for sure. And a lot of people get interested when it's a certain, like we do like guest models, and a lot of people get interested if it's somebody they like, one of their friends, or somebody they look up to, or whatever. So that's kind of how it goes. But Texas is the main source.
And you have quite a lineup for your decks: Tony Farmer, Christian Albright, Joe Fernandez, Mike Kelly, Richard Kirby, and I believe Tom Groholski. What was the determining factor for selecting these skaters to represent your brand?
Well, there's a whole lot more than that, and I'll probably forget them all, but I mean, there's Pat Clark, Jesse Davis, Brett Roper, Adam Young, Hubba, and there's Ben Schroeder. There's probably a bunch I'm forgetting, sorry guys. But it's just guys that we're stoked on. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. They're guest models, so we just ask them if they want to do it, because we're stoked on them, we're stoked on the way they ride, whatever it is, and that's how we go with that. And if they say yes, we do it. And over the years, we've only had like one person say no. Really, everybody's usually pretty receptive, and they just go for it. So it's pretty cool. Nice. It's just guys we're stoked on.
Now, also when I think of Cockfight, I also think of Matthew Niemann, Jeremy Smith, and Adam Wiggins. What is their role with Cockfight?
Well, they're babies, and they grew up riding for us. I mean, Matthew has been skating since he was under 2, but probably he could barely walk when he started standing on the board. And Jeremy was our second team rider ever, and then he got his friend Adam on, and those 3 have been with us from the get-go pretty much. and they're down for life. I'm pretty sure. I mean, Matthew pretty much, he's my kid, so he does the deal. But Jeremy and Adam, they've never written anything else. So
You have some pretty sick artwork on the decks. Who designs and selects the artwork for each deck?
it's a pretty collaborative process. Anybody's allowed to pitch ideas. Anybody involved. Riders, us, the artist. Paul Niemann, this is a guy from Dallas, pretty gnarly skater, old guy. He was our original artist, and he always did anything we wanted, however we wanted it, and he just got kind of busy. And he'd still do it, but I got this guy, Jesse, who also rides for us, Jesse Davis, and he's the main #1 creative mind behind the whole thing. I pitch him an idea, and he takes it to the next level, and I don't question it. He does his deal. He always does it. Never paid him a dime. He's the best, man. Jesse Davis. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Now, your brand is also viewed as like a backyard, pool, ditch, DIY skater type of crew. Is this something that you've always done?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up basically in a ditch at Easy 7. That was every single day forever when I was young. You know, that was my skate park. I grew up in Oak Forest, and me and my friends, that's where we met after school. That's where we did all our riding, and that's where we got together and went other places and found other things. We found our first pool in like '87, and that started just, that's a whole nother deal, man. That's an obsession that's hard to get rid of. Pools are hard. They're hard to skate. They're not made to be skated, and take a lot of work, and they're nasty, and all that goes along with it. The finding it, the cleaning it, the skating it. None of it's easy, and that sort of makes it have kind of an alluring sense to me. Like, you know, that's why I like it so much. Never mind, all our riders like it too. Ditches, love it. Building stuff, love it. Staying out of the skate parks, I love it.
Do you have a preference?
Me personally, I've always been a ditch skater. I love to skateboard in ditches. I mean, that's my #1. I do this, but I'm not very good at this, but I love it. But ditch skating is where, that's what I love the most.
Have you ever had to leave spot due to cops, like in the movie Dogtown?
A lot of times. A lot of times. I mean, when you're skating in these pools, you got everything from real estate agents to neighbors to cops to owners of the properties, whatever. There's a lot of drama involved, but it's just the way it is. It's part of the deal.
Now, you guys seem like a tight-knit family when I see you at the different events. Is this always the case, or is there drama at times?
Jeremy Smith is the only drama queen. And I love him like a son. But he's our only drama. Everybody else is totally humble, totally down. They rip when everybody's looking or nobody's looking. It doesn't matter. That's just the way they are, and we're all like family, and Jeremy included in that. But Jeremy likes people to look at him a little bit, and he every now and again will start a little drama, but it's all in fun.
Where do you see Cockfight in the next 10 years?
Probably in my living room like it is right now. I mean, that's the way it's going to stay. First of all, I don't have the time to put any more, you know, expense into it or any more effort into it. I have a real job. Kevin's got a real job. He's off building skate parks, so he's never around. It's just what it is, man. We do it when we can do it and how we want to do it, and it basically takes up my living room. That's Cockfight, my living room.
Very cool. And now for a few fun and personal questions. You kill it every time I see you skate, and it doesn't matter whether it's a ditch or the skate park. How long have you been skating?
Well, I first laid eyes on dude skateboarding in 1981. Was the first time I actually saw people ripping skateboards, and I knew I wanted to do it. So probably 82, I probably got it all together and started doing it. So that long, well, however long that is.
But what made you start? Like, what got you into it?
I was a big time BMXer. racing, not all this, I mean, there was none of this what there is now, but I mean, you know, BMX racing, jumping, and, you know, all that crap, just doing what kids do. And they started putting skate photos in the BMX magazines. I guess that was around the, like, skateboarder went to Action Now, and it was like, I don't know, man, the beginning of all that, melding it all together. And I was like, that looks really cool. And then I rode my bike. I was in Houston in the summer, and I rode my bike down to Easy 7. We were all gonna go ride our bikes there. And there was all these like punker dudes like skating and ripping so hard, or I mean, we thought they were ripping. And I was like, I wanna do that. So immediately I did whatever I could do to get everything together to start skateboarding. I mean, we, you know, might have bought a deck, and then 3 allowances later, we got some trucks or whatever, however it worked, but we all were hooked at that point. And then once we started doing it, there's no stopping it. You know how that goes. It's
oh yeah.
Obsession. Now,
being an older gentleman like myself, you know, how do you push past the fear of getting injured?
I'm going to be honest, I'm 48 this week, and it does creep into my mind more than it used to. I've been hurt a lot, man. I've been hurt a lot. I've had 5 knee surgeries. I need another one. A lot of different shit, but I think once I get going, I forget about it. So I'm not gonna let it change the way I skate, that's for sure.
Also, how proud are you that you have a son that rips as hard as you?
I'm more proud than words can even describe, man. That kid, he's been on a skateboard since he was 1.5, 2 years old. He's been as obsessed with it. I never pushed it on him. He saw it, he was around it, and he's been obsessed with it ever since. And he is gnarly, man. He scares the crap out of me. Man, he scares the crap out of me, but he is gnarly. And he's done that all himself. He doesn't listen to me. I don't tell him how to do tricks. I don't do any of that. He does it. That's his deal, man. And I'm extremely proud, not only the skater he is, the young man he is, but it's pretty awesome to skate with him and for him to still like me. Like, you know, he's 17 and we
right.
still hang out. So that's pretty cool.
Now, who did the filming when he slammed in that water slide?
That was me, and thank God I was looking through the camera, because when I look at it afterwards, I mean, it looks like he was dead.
That was a gnarly slam.
He jumped. I ran down there because I heard it more than I saw it, and he jumped up and was ready to go again immediately. Like, I don't even think he really knew like what happened, and he was already just like, because that thing is scary to be in. It's illegal and everything else, and we were hyperventilating already. And he just jumped up. He took one more fall, a way more graceful fall, and then third time got it. Now that was the second time he's done that loop though. He just wanted to do it frontside. He's done it backside 2 years ago, but he wanted to go back and get it frontside.
Oh, sick.
And it was gnarly.
Well, Mr. Niemann, thank you for the opportunity you gave us to interview you. Do you have any last words of wisdom?
Have fun, find spots, build spots, and give back to skateboarding, man. Don't just take, give back. Do whatever it takes to make it rad.